So I'm here to tell you the story about Canon's sales enablement journey. So our journey actually started in 2014. So if you look at Marie's timeline, it was like in the Jurassic era. In 2014, we acquired some seismic software, about 3,000 licenses worth. And one of the main questions I get asked actually is, how the hell do you start? How do you develop a business case? And back in 2014, in the Jurassic era, there wasn't as much industry information out there, and there wasn't these wonderful communities that you could lean on each other for evidence. So we used what we could. Now, how do we build our business case? Well, we used what we could in terms of industry metrics around at the time. We spoke to experts. But we also used qualitative measures. Our problem was that our countries were screaming at us they needed a solution for sales proposals and sales content. But sales proposals were the thing that was really driving it. And we got some metrics together to build a business case, but what really tipped the balance was we asked our countries to provide us with examples of their proposals. And we asked them to give us their 5 best proposals. Not their 5 worst, but their 5 best. And frankly, they were so bad that as soon as we sent them to their board, that was the maths was out the window, and we knew we had to get a solution to fix it. So the second part of the story is that we failed in our implementation. So we had this wonderful technology, and we went to implement it, and we failed. And the reason we were failed was, number one, was back in 2014, I was the head of global account sales, and as a part-time job, I was a representative of sales in IT, which is how we acquired the software. So we had no structure, no organization, no goals, didn't really know what we were doing. And secondly, we made the very pleasant, well-meaning mistake is that we wanted to give sales the benefit of this beautiful software as soon as possible. So we wanted to roll the content platform out, but in order to do that quickly, we really couldn't worry about the content. We just put everything that we had originally into the content platform, and then we launched it to sales. And it went like this. Salespeople initially loved it. Oh, this is really sexy, it's great. So, because salespeople love shiny stuff. And it was very sexy and very cool, and they loved it until they realized that it contained a load of crap they didn't need, and they couldn't find the stuff they really did need, because there was too much stuff in it and a lot of stuff that was not used. So that's when we really uncovered the depth of our content problems. Yeah, we were solving the proposal problem a little bit, but we really uncovered that we had a mountain of content. One of our countries had more than 10,000 sales assets for a sales force of only a couple of hundred people. So we had a massive problem. So luckily, we got round to 2016, and the organization made some changes and actually put in an excellence function for sales, which we didn't have previously. And I was lucky enough to get that job, and as part of that, then we relaunched our seismic platform. And I'll take you through the reasons why it became so successful. Is firstly, we had a very clear mission. If you look online at experts in this field, people like Tamara Schenk, they talk about charters, missions, goals. We made sure that we had a very clear understanding of what the platform was for, and a very clear mission, that our mission from a sales enablement perspective was to put the right content to give it to the right people at the right stage in the right format. So that was number one. We had a very clear mission. The second part is that we had a clear operating model. So we had an organization that was responsible for sales enablement, not a very big one, a couple of people. But they had clear roles and responsibilities. Now, I'm a salesperson, so the last thing I like to do is to sit in meetings and do decision flow charts and RACI models and all this stuff. It drives me bonkers. But it's incredibly important that we really managed the processes around how decisions around content were made. So who's responsible for content? Who holds the budget? Who decides whether something is good or not? Ultimately, who can remove content? Who can commission new pieces of content? So we had a really clear operating model that helped us on our journey. Thirdly, so we have mission, we have operating model. And thirdly, the most important part actually is we had a content strategy. We built a content strategy. Sounds pretty obvious, but one of the reasons we failed is we didn't have one in the beginning. We built that content strategy First of all, in conjunction with the marketing department, building a very clear set of value propositions. Again, you heard from Marie this morning, absolutely right. Customers are engaging in different phases of the sales cycle with salespeople directly. And what that means is, from a sales enablement perspective, is the content that your sellers are giving to customers and the stories they are telling must match what your buyers are receiving when they go online, when they go into social. And because of that, you need a very, very clear content strategy. So your messages are incredibly clear. And then you need to make sure from everything you sell, whether that's a product line or a combination of product lines or offers or value propositions, whatever it is, whatever your sellers sell and whatever your buyers buy, you need to have the right content for every stage of that buyer's journey and every stage of that sales cycle. And you need to be ruthless about this to make sure that you've got the content that fills the gaps. Marketing people, I know we have some here, including the former colleagues, they love to make the sexy stuff that creates demand at the front end. They love to make the videos and the beautiful, expensive things that sort of create demand. Sometimes, certainly in our business, when people were buying printers for their office, people didn't need a demand creation thing. You don't wake up one morning and go, oh, I wonder, I need a thing that makes paper. People know what that is. So what they do need, what salespeople do need is objection handling, battle cards, budget justification, white paper stuff on security at the back end of the sales cycle. So to really audit your content very, very, very carefully, and we did it literally line by line in terms of our products, and to make sure that that content is usable where you need to cross-sell. One of the biggest issues we had is that we could sell one thing, but as soon as we wanted to sell things in combination, it looked like the two different companies had made the content. So, clear mission, clear operating model, clear content strategy, and lastly is adoption enforcement review. So we made a great effort of promoting the technology and promoting the new content. We also promoted the individuals that use the system, and particularly the individuals who created the best content. What we also did was enforce the usage of the technology and enforce the usage of the content strategy. Really, really important in order to drive through adoption. And obviously, you can use, by using the seismic tools, you've got a lot of data that you can then use to reinforce that content strategy. So you can make sure that you're very ruthless in deleting the content that you don't need, the content the customers and the salespeople aren't engaging with, and replacing it with reinforced content where it really matters for customers and for sellers. Thanks ever so much. I'll be around if you ever want any more details, but thank you. Thank you.